Hi teachers, this is Jessica Monterrubio. I'm a second grade teacher at the Virtual Academy, and this video is to go over Jamboard. In this video, I will be going over how to open a new Jamboard from your browser. I will do a brief review of tools, how to set background, use the background features and set backgrounds, creating interactive frames for students to use, sharing Jamboard with students, and how to view students' work live. Okay, so to open a new Jamboard, a shortcut would be to just on your browser type jam.new, and that'll open a new Jamboard for you. And this will already be saved in your drive. If you want to, you can give it a title, so it's just easier to find. Okay, we have the tools on this side. We have the tools, or the pen, marker, highlighter, and a cool trick that Megan taught me is that if you hold on Shift and then you drag your pencil or marker, it'll make a straight line for you. So again, that's Shift, hold down on Shift, and then drag your pencil or marker across for a straight line. Another trick that just makes it easier and faster is duplicating your sticky notes or an image that you put on the Jamboard. If you create your sticky note and you want to duplicate this, sticky note, you would just hold down on Control D and it'll duplicate. Okay. Again, that is Control D for duplicating your stickies, or if you have a shape or an image, you can do the same thing. Control D and it'll duplicate for you. This is one of Jamboard's newest features using the text box, and it just makes it easy for you to add your add a text. You can change the color up here. You have different options. You can center your text to the left or to the right. Okay, and now I'm going to open another frame to go over how to use the background or set a background. So to create a new frame, you just go to the arrows on top, create a new frame. You have your different backgrounds for Jamboard that you can use. Or you can even upload your own background. Let's say you already created something in Google Slides that you want to upload. You would have to save it as an image, and then if I browse mine, I already have some here that I might want to use. For example, let's say I want to use this as a background, and I don't want kids to move anything. So that's already set there. This was created in Google Slides. Okay, I'm going to create another frame. Let's say now you have, you want to do your, create something here on this frame, something interactive for students, but you don't want them to move certain things. You can go ahead and start by adding your, um, your template for them to work on. And let's say then you create this for them to work on. Okay, you want them to have this available to them for them to add notes or their own, their stickies. You can, right now it's set so that they can, if you send it to them like this, they'll be able to move things around. Some kids might erase what you have there. You can go up here to the three dots, download frame as image. And once you download it, you could go back to set background, add image, drop that in there. Then you can clear the frame, and then it's set so that they don't move anything. Okay, so now they can't move anything. And you can have them add stickies with their notes there, just to make it interactive for students to use. You can just share this with them. Maybe you want each student to have their own frame. We might want to add a name here just so that they know which frame to go to. And then duplicate the frame. If you go up here, again, three dots for the frame that you want to duplicate, and you duplicate for however many kids you want or you have in your group. Okay, and that creates a frame for each student. We just have to change, add their names to the frame so that they know where to go and where to start working. Okay, another option is adding, maybe you have a copy of an image. You have an image that you want to copy from Google Images. You might want to search for a PNG, so you would have to type, for example, Apple PNG. Copy image. Go back to your Jamboard, and for Jamboard, you would have to use Control V to paste your image. Control V. Okay. There's the image. You can also use the add image option and look for an image, Google image search. The only difference is that there's the images here in Google search, image search, they're limited. But you can do the same thing. You insert. Okay. And then again, if this is something you don't want students to move around, you can go back to save frame as image, download it, set background, and set it as the background for them. And then add all your manipulatives on top of that background. Okay. Something that I do a lot in with my small groups, for example, for reading groups, I get text from Raskits, and I put them as a background for students, maybe I want them to highlight information and respond to some questions. You can easily go ahead and do that. I'm going to get a passage. You can just project the passage or download it as PDF. And I use the snipping tool to copy. And you copy the image, and then okay. So while you're in, come back to Jamboard, you can just paste your image, and then I have the text that I want them to read here. I want them to read this and maybe answer some questions. Or do some highlighting, but I don't want them to be able to move this or erase it. You can again set it, save frame as image, and then set as background. And now you have your background. Okay, you have to clear the frame. Now this is set as background. You can add their stickies, you can add a text box. Okay. Okay, now you have your the frames that you want to share with students, and you want them to interact and to start typing their responses, their sticky notes. So to share this with students, you would go to share, set it up so that it's shared with anyone with the link. Because if some students are not connected to their .NET account, then they won't be able to open it. The only difference is that if they log in and with anyone with the link, then you won't be able to see who logged in. So if you want to be able to identify who is doing, who's moving things around, you might want to give them their own frame with their name so that you know that that's that student's name work. If you don't want them to move anything, then share with them as viewer only. But if you want them to interact with the Jamboard, you would have to set it up for editor. Then you copy the link, you can share it in the chat box with them, and then they'll be able to move things around, add things to, but not move the background. So if you already set this, if you already set all of it as background, then they won't be able to move anything. They'll just be able to add things to it. And okay, so let's say they already finished. You want them to come back to your Zoom meeting. You want to go over it with them, but some students are still there working, and you want to get their attention, to get them back. You can come back and change the setting to viewer only, and that will keep them from moving things around. Once you change it to viewer only, they won't be able to add or delete stuff. Okay. Once students are working in the Jamboard and you want to be able to see what they're doing, want to be able to have all of their frames open in front of you, what you can do is go over to the tab. You're going to right click, duplicate, That's going to open the same Jamboard. It'll open on another tab, and you can open all the windows, drag it underneath the original one, and that'll give you a view of different um, frames, all the different frames you have open. Maybe you have 3, 4, or more students working on the same Jamboard. You want to be able to see them, see if they're working, if they're moving things around. This is what you would want to do. If you want to add, be able to see more kids, you can do control minus, and that'll make the windows smaller, and it will be able to you'll be able to see more. If you want to make the windows larger, control plus, and the windows become, you're zooming in to view all the windows. And when you do this and there's students working on it, you can see everyone interacting with the Jamboard. You can easily redirect students if you need to. Maybe ask them like, well, hey, why are you working? I see that you're not working. I see that you're not moving these around, or let's get started from here. And you would be able to see their name, or the icon for their account on their frames. Okay. Another way to share the Jamboard with students is in Google Classroom. This can be shared just the same way you would share maybe a Google document. You would create your assignment and then upload the Jamboard and make a copy for each student. That's another way to share that with them, and it will create their own folder in Drive to store their work there. Mhm. Okay, and lastly, maybe you want to want to save have a record of what students worked on on this Jamboard. For as evidence, you can download it as PDF. This will download as PDF, and you can store that in a document for your records, and it downloads all the frames your students worked on. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. You can find me at jmonterrubio@sbusd.org, and I will be happy to answer your questions. Thank you.